Well, hello. Welcome back to Survival Saturday with Johnny Tiger. Kitten is out of the house, so we're flying solo today with our little knife review on July 29, 2023. This is a handsome piece, discontinued, so if you're looking for this one, you might have better luck finding it on eBay or at garage sale. Uh, Good news is it is not a very high-end knife, so don't pay too much for it. It's a good knife. It's no question about it. It's a good knife, but it was never meant to be a super high-end model. So people might be jacking the price up a little bit because it's discontinued. But if you can get it for 20-30 bucks, that's already good. Like, don't pay more than 30-35. If you pay more than that, then you're overpaying. Because when this knife was released, it was like around $19 to $25, if that. So quite an amazing low-end fixed blade knife. Usually we see a lot of good low-end pocket knives like clip on switchblade and that kind of folding knife kind of deal. But for fixed blade at low end at the $15-25 range, to get something like this is quite amazing actually. This one came to me from my friend Richard, and he sent it to me many years ago. I believe this was like 6 or 7 years ago, when we first started sending knives to each other. And this was one of the first one, and I've carried this knife on me for many years. In fact, I just recently retired it. Like 3 months ago, I decided to retire it and carry something else instead. The reason that I retired this have nothing to do with the knife itself. The reason that I retired this was this knife, interestingly enough, has gone missing. Like, it has fallen out of my backpack, it has fallen off my belt, it's fallen out of my cargo vest 3 times. Right? 3 times it's fallen out, so 3 times I thought, oh crap, I've lost the gift my friend gave me. And all 3 times I got it back. I was able to retrieve it later. So after the 3rd time, I was thinking, you know what, Johnny boy, 3 times you almost lost this knife, and 3 times you got it back. You should stop at 3. Right? You should carry something else. And this was a friend's gift, and it's discontinued, so it can't be replaced easily. So it's better to just keep it at home. So like I said, I retired this not because of any problem with the knife, but because I figured if it almost went missing 3 times, it's almost like a sign from above or something. Now, let's look at the knife itself. We have here a knife that is sheathed in a nice leather sheath. The knife itself is about 9 inches long. The blade is just under 5 inches. This is an Elk Ridge upswept hunter blade. Elk Ridge upswept hunter blade. Like I said, discontinued, so a little bit hard to find. But if you type it into Google, you can see that Elk Ridge, once upon a time, had a lot of really beautiful offering. Like, after I received this knife from my friend Richard, I started gifting Elk Ridge knife to other friends. I was that impressed with Elk Ridge knives. A lot of them were gorgeous, and the construction just solid all around. The sheath has a single snap button opening, making it very easy to draw this knife one-handed. Before we draw it out, let me show you guys that the sheath also has a belt loop on the back. So this is not a clip-on. Okay, this is literally have to get your belt through that, and then it will hang nicely. A lot of time I like to wear this hilt down across my chest and the chest belt. If I'm out and about and camping and hiking and stuff like that, because it's a good quick draw, and when you wear it across your chest, it's just you unsnap this and pretty much the knife will drop down into your hand. It's very good. Now the downside of that is if you not paying attention and the button snap open, the knife will fall out. Because this sheath, while it is very nice, it's leather, the stitching is nice, it is not tight. Like you can sort of hear this. The knife kind of rattles around inside the sheath. So it is a loose sheath. So if the button was to fall open, bye-bye knife. It's going to fall out. Right? So that is one downside of this sheath. Taking the knife out of the sheath, one-handed, like I said, very simple. Nice single edge, almost 5-inch blade, 440 stainless steel. So not super high end, but like I said, it's like a $20 knife. What do you expect? But thick blade like this. The spine of this blade, yeah, that is a thick piece of metal on the spine. Interesting little feature. I'm going to bring this in a little bit. Interesting little feature. I don't know why this is there, but if you guys look along the spine of the blade, halfway up the spine, there's like a clip false edge. Like you can see a piece of like the metal kind of shave off from both sides. Maybe that's for weight reduction because this is not quite a true false edge. You can't sharpen that, not unless you have a grinder at home, right? So I'm not quite sure why it's made that way. It does present an interesting profile on the blade. The blade is very straight. If you look along the back of the blade, it is very straight. But the underside, the belly of the blade, has a nice upswept angle to it. So this is a good cutter, good slicer, good stabber too, because of how straight this is. Perhaps my favorite aspect of this knife is the finger guard. This finger guard is so nice. The underside of the tang curve out and almost wrap around your finger as a nice half guard, like that. Finger guard. See how it just covered my index finger like that. Now, if you want to, you can get your finger over that. There is a tiny bit of space past the finger guard before the blade becomes sharp, but you got to be very careful. You don't have a lot of room there. So keep your hand behind the finger guard is my suggestion. The finger guard allow you to balance this knife very well on your hand when you're working with it, and this will not slip on your hand, will not slip onto the blade as long as you keep your finger behind the finger guard. Even in a reverse grip, even in a commando style grip, your pinky will butt up against the finger guard, so that will naturally act as a stopper for your hand, which is nice. There's not really a pommel. The back is just rounded off, so you can rest your thumb there, no problem. And as we can tell, this is one solid full tang construction. The blade continue from the spine all the way through the hilt, and there's like an imitation stag handle with wood bolted onto both sides of the tang, so you can get a better grip. Speaking of grip, this handle, while nice, I will say that one downside of this is even when your hand is dry, this feels really slippery. Okay, this wood is quite smooth, and this, if without this finger guard, this would constantly be twisting and turning in your hand. And I have noticed that with most of uh, Elk Ridge product. Like I said, after I received this knife, I started buying Elk Ridge for my friends. So I came across quite a few Elk Ridge knives, and all of them had this issue. They have beautiful wood handle, but the wood is so smooth and there's hardly any traction for your hand, which means if this was to get wet, then this might be a bit challenging to get a solid grip. Now, if you are wearing like a gloves, if you have grippy gloves, this wouldn't be an issue. But on bare hand, this can be a bit challenging to hold on to when it's wet and slippery. Other than that, there's not much to it. It is a simple knife. There's no blings and bells to it. It's just really well balanced. Look at how balanced it is on my grip, even when I just have my hand open and it's sitting like that. The finger ring, or not finger ring, but the finger guard does allow you a good degree of control when you tilt the knife, when you're switching grip, when you do different kind of hold with this knife. Very, very balanced, very nice. And then to slip it back into the sheath, you just put this back in. Make sure the button, snap button closure is over the finger guard, and there we go. Now let's cut something with this. And an old cardboard box, always a good indication of how good a knife can cut. Putting the knife sheath away. Let's see, what angle should I stand at so you guys can see. I'm going to stand. Oh, the phone, the camera just fell over. Sorry guys, this is not very stable. Sorry about that. Now, I'm going to stand with my back to you guys, and I'm slightly off center, so this way you guys can see my cutting hand and the cardboard we are cutting right here. Front of the camera. Okay. So with this, we are going to make a nice entry and then slice down. Look at that. Look at how easy this just cuts through. Yeah, this is good. This is a good cut. And this is, I'll admit, this is no surprise to me, because like I said, I carried this for a long time. There is a reason why I carried this for a long time. I didn't just carry it because it looked cool. I carry it because it cuts extremely well, and it's a comfortable knife to hold, a comfortable knife to carry. And I have never needed to sharpen this knife yet. Also, after that little bit of cardboard slicing, I might have to buff it up a little bit, because cardboard is really harsh on knife. I don't know if it's picked up scratches from that or not. Whatever. Old knife is still good. Now, so before we end the video, of course, we got to ask ourselves, answer the usual 3 questions. Is this a good everyday carry utility knife? Is this a good hunting knife or a survival knife? Is it a good fighting knife for self-defense? I think because it cuts so well and how easy this is to carry, like I can literally just stick this in my pocket and go, and then when I sit down, it's going to fall out of my pocket and go missing. But belt loop on the sheath, sling profile, you can stick it in your backpack easily. It's pretty secure, and it cuts extremely well. It is solid, one-piece construction. It is cheap to buy, at least it used to be when it wasn't discontinued. It's a great utility knife. Okay, this makes the only downside I will say this as a utility knife is it's quite large. You know, you are carrying around a knife that's almost 9 inches long, and with a blade that's like 5 inches. So I can see that this might be problematic if you run into issue with law enforcement, and this is going to get confiscated because of how large it is. But strictly for use, like on your desk, at home, in your car, this is a great utility knife. Okay, is it a good survival knife? Well, it is marketed as a hunter knife. So by virtue of that, again, we look at it, it's a nice, simple leather sheath, nice, solid construction, not a lot of fuss and bells and dings about it. It cuts well, handles well. I think the only downside of it as a survival knife is it lacks a proper pommel, so you can't really do like any batoning with it or hammering with it, and also the wood handle is kind of slippery. I imagine when you're working with this as a hunter, if you have gloves on, it's fine. But if you don't have gloves on, it's going to get all kind of uncomfortable with blood and guts and stuff like that. Oh, I forgot to mention, behind the finger guard, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me come closer. Behind the finger guard, there is a little groove in the handle. So your finger can naturally curve into that. So that's pretty nice. Okay? So, when you come to survival knife, I think it's good because it's simple, but I wouldn't carry it as my main survival knife. I prefer my survival knife to have a little bit more feature, a little bit more security, like pouches on the sheath to store something, and then maybe a glass breaker on the pommel, and then maybe a serrated edge along the back or stuff. I like my survival knife to have a little bit more. So I wouldn't pick this as my primary survival knife, but as a secondary one, if you just want to carry it like when you go hiking in case you run into a wild animal, that's like a raging grizzly bear and you need to fight for your life. Yeah, okay, it's not bad. So I would say it's decent, but not perfect. Is it a good self-defense knife? Well, I mean, if we run into each other in a dark alley and I pull this out and want to defend myself, would you really want to argue with me? Like, this is not meant to be a fighting knife. It doesn't have the viciousness of a lot of fighting knife designs, but it's long, it's thick, it got a great secure hold with a finger guard like this, and it holds great no matter if you go forward grip or commando grip. So I say for self-defense knife, again, not perfect, but definitely more than adequate. So all around, for a $20, $25 knife, I think this was a winner. And you just can't go wrong with Elk Ridge in general. Thank you for checking out today's little knife review of my Elk Ridge upswept hunter blade. Thank you for Richard for giving this to me. I'll see you guys later.